Bonjour, this is Emma at Words and Peace, and this is my video for Mailbox Monday for June 16th. So I'm going to talk to you about the books I received this past week. So I received 5 books, and well, if you're patient, at the end I'll talk to you about 2 other little things. So last Saturday, last weekend, I went to Printers Row in Chicago, which is the biggest books event in the Midwest, and I bought this book, which is written by Frances McNamara, Death at the Fair. This is historical fiction, and the heroine is Emily Cabot, and I'll show you. So it's published, this book was published in 2008. It's published by Allium Press of Chicago. And so Frances, whom I met there, it was really cool to talk with the author. She published already 4 books in the series, so it's all related to a historical event and a lot around Chicago. And this is this. And the 5th one is actually in Chinatown. And she's actually writing on her 6th novel, where Emily is going to Paris to the World Exhibit. So I wanted to really read the first one to know about her and then to see about what she's doing in Paris. I think that's going to be really exciting. The second book was actually offered to me graciously by the author, who is Dan Burns, an author also from Chicago. So this is actually a collection of short stories. So it's going to be interesting to plunge again into this genre, because I'm not reading too many of those right now. And this is published by Chicago Arts Press, and this is just published this year. And the blurb behind says, well, I can show you. Each breath we take brings us to and past the crossroads in life, and there is no turning back. So it's a lot about choices we make in life, or choices we make and then life changes whose plans and how we go from there. He also wrote a novel related a bit to the same topic, Recall to Life. So I think this is going to be very interesting, and it was also wonderful to meet this author and to receive his book for free. Now, 2 weeks ago, I believe, was Armchair BA, and I won this book at Caffeinated Life. And so this was published in 2012 by Portobello Books. Well, I think the blurb is really, really cool. I mean, one of the blurb. Can you read this? Yeah. Octavia runs the Notre Dame Bakery just a few streets away. And Isabeau works out of sight. Oh my gosh, it's difficult to read, sorry. He works out of sight in the basement of the Louvre. The two might never have met but for your curious chain of coincidences involving an impoverished painter, a jaded bookseller, and a book of fairy tales lost and found. So lots of very fascinating things in Paris. So I believe I'm really going to enjoy this. I also just received Madame Picasso, written by Annie Girard. This is just, well, actually, this is going to be published in September by Harlequin, as we say in French. Might as well add a few, French-sounding words, right? And I received this book to be part of a virtual book tour run by Historical Fiction Virtual Book Tours. And finally, I received a non-fiction book, The French House. It's a memoir by Don Wallace. This was just published on June 3rd by Source Books. And this is basically the story of an American couple. They were not going too well in their married life, and they actually bought a house on a little island called Belle Île, off the western coast of France. And as they restored this ruined house, they kind of also restored their own marriage life. So I think it's should be really interesting too. And finally, I want to share something really cool. Again, during Armchair BA, I won this, which is by Deb Edward. Look at this. This is the most fun way to do marketing for your books. So a postcard and a mug with lots of great chocolates. And if I take out all the chocolates, ta-da, I have a paper. And if I open this paper, ta-da, what am I going to find in the paper? It's actually an excerpt of a book. Isn't that cool? Okay, and then a little self publicity. You know, I also paint on rocks, and a friend asked me to paint a frog, so this is my frog. I really like it very much. It looks like it's going to jump on you, right? Okay, so this is the end for Mailbox Monday. Sorry I was a bit longer than usual, but I hope this gives you some great ideas of new books to read. So talk to you next week, hopefully. Goodbye.